Yo, what up, guys? This is Retronic Ice Cat. You're on the Real News Talk channel. You know what the fuck to do. So, this video that I want to touch on is a fan creating an AI of AJ Lee kissing him at a meet and greet that he attended recently. Now, there's a lot of mixed feelings about this. Some people see it as an amusement. Some people see it as weird and that. Personally, me, is it's pretty weird if you ask me, but at the same time, I could see why certain people would be amused by it. They see it as a ha sort of thing, because AI makes you do things that you want the picture and the video to do in this current time, and it's pretty dangerous at the same time because AI can make things look so real that people will fall for it. That's the scary part. That's the creepy part about it. But at the same time, people use it for entertainment, for their own entertainment, that is. And that. And this fan creating an AI of AJ Lee kissing him on the cheek, that's the first step of reality. Because a fantasy can turn into reality. Because when you fantasize about that, it can easily come to reality. Because that fan, his next step could potentially be to try it with that female wrestler by forcing himself on her. Now, that would be deemed sexual assault. And if that female wrestler turned around and boxed the fan right in his face, rightfully so, that fan cannot sue that wrestler because he sexually assaulted her. And she defended herself by punching him dead in his face. So if that were to happen, the fan can't do shit because it's all on camera and the evidence shows that he forced himself onto her. So he'll be the one that will be in trouble, not the actual victim, which would be the female wrestler. So these things start off as a joke, but can easily turn really serious in the future if care is not taken, because you don't know what these deranged fans are thinking or what's going on in their head. Because you may think that they're just doing it just to make people jealous, try to finesse people, like, oh, look, AJ Lee kissed me on the cheek. Ha 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 ha. She never did it to you before. She only did it to me. But if you're smart, you know that it's all a facade. It's all make-believe. At the end of the day, that shit ain't fucking real. But there's a lot of people out there that would fall for it. And they'll go directly to the internet and say, look, AJ Lee kissed this fan. But AJ Lee's not known for randomly kissing any fan. She doesn't even kiss any fan at all. I don't ever recall AJ Lee kissing a fan in her entire career. Ever. So why would she kiss this particular fan? It don't make no sense. She barely even touches people. She doesn't even like being touched like that. She don't mind you taking a picture of her whenever she feels like it, but she won't let you touch her. And she won't touch you. But at this particular meet and greet, maybe they touched each other by the wayside and that. But the last thing she would ever do is turn around and kiss the fan on the cheek. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. I know certain female wrestlers will do that to some fans, but AJ Lee's not one of them. Not at all. If that were the case, I would have said, but nah, that's not her at all. But yeah, with these sort of things, it makes a lot of female wrestlers go into defense mode. Because anytime they see a male fan now, they're going to be very cautious, whether it's a good or a bad fan. Just so they don't get into situation, you know, where they could potentially be sexually assaulted or even worse, because you don't know you don't even know who's who at the end of the day. That's the scary part. So they want to be aware of their surroundings at all times. And it's very frustrating as well, and it sucks because real decent fans, right, it spoils things for them. And when they try to go up to their favorite wrestler in a generous way, they get tossed aside simply because of a few dickheads that ruined it for them and traumatized them to the point where they don't want anything to do with any male fans outside of their work, outside of a meet and greet. Or if they're on the street and you try and approach them, 50-50, they might do it. All depends on who they're with and their current mood state at the time. But if they're not in a mood, or if they're, pretty nerve-wracking, they won't do it. They won't do it because at that moment, it's not the right time or the right place. Recently, there was a video of a guy in Philadelphia. A fan tried to approach Roxanne Perez while she was getting her luggage out of some car. Her and Raquel Rodriguez entering the arena. He went up to Roxanne Perez, asked for a photo, and she said no. And then he tried to put his phone up like that to get a snap of her. And the security pushed his bitch ass out the way and said, look, go over there. You see, people don't know boundaries. They don't have any consideration whatsoever. They don't have any concern. And they don't care about any humiliation that comes their way. You know why? It's because they want to get clout. They want to get their 15 minutes of fame and attention. That's all it is. That's why that guy created that AI, because he wanted his 15 minutes of fame. He wanted that attention. He did it for likes, clicks, and views. That's what the internet has done to the majority of people nowadays. They want to make a name off of someone else because their lives are shit. That's why. They're demons. That's what demons do. They leech off of other people. When they ain't got nothing, they'll try and steal off the next person. They'll try and rob off the next person just to get attention and buzz. You have to do stupid things in order to get attention, but for the wrong reasons. But if you speak real, and if you're a sensible person, if you have your head screwed on, you rarely get attention. Because people like to see stupidity over being educated. That's the difference. That's what social media has done. Because I'm so old school, I don't really fuck with social media like that. But I see these things on social media all the fucking time. And it gives me more reason not to fuck with social media. Because of pussies like this. Especially in this generation. This generation takes the cake when it comes to stupidity. Look at TikTok, Instagram, and all that bullshit. They do a lot of dumb shit just to get attention. And not knowing the consequences that comes with it later on. You get my drift? So this is the reason why you have dickheads like this guy who created an AI of AJ Lee kissing him on the cheek and that. What's next? Is he going to create an AI of a female wrestler having sex with him? Because that's what could potentially happen next. Don't be surprised. And everybody falls for it. And then he gets the attention. He gets the buzz. He gets the comments. He gets the likes. But yet, a real wrestling fan, a real true wrestling fan that has respect for the wrestlers and that, and who's honest in that, rarely or hardly gets any attention. You know? When you're in a demonic virtual society and in the real world, nah, they won't like you. You know why? Because they see you as a threat. Because they fear your intelligence and knowledge. because they're used to bullshit. They're entertained by dumb shit. And there's a lot of dumb motherfuckers out there, even grown-ass men, that are trying to live their second childhood. Their brains haven't fully developed. That's if they ever grow up at all. Do dumb shit. Because they never got the attention when they were younger. You understand? So, my thoughts on the whole AJ Lee situation. It's pretty crazy. It's bizarre. It's bizarre if you ask me. You know? Pretty creepy if you ask me. It's pretty creepy. But, like I said, it starts off with something like that. Because fantasy can turn into reality. Life imitates art. So don't be surprised if you hear a male fan, trying it with another female wrestler by hugging her and then trying to force himself on her by snogging her. Because that could potentially happen next. Don't be surprised if you hear that happen. I know recently somebody tried to do that to Paige, but luckily she saw that coming and she pushed him away. You know, Saraya, she gets attacked by a lot of male fans only because of the things that she put out there in the past and that. So she kind of drew that onto herself, but at the same time, she's a human being and shit happens, but she doesn't deserve to be harassed and, potentially sexually assaulted like that. She don't deserve that, because at the end of the day, we all do fucked up shit. Nobody's perfect. So people deserve their space. People deserve, their privacy and respect. It's okay to take a picture with your favorite wrestler, regardless of who they are, if they accept it and keep it moving. But for you to try and touch them and try and, touch them up inappropriately, no, that's crossing the line. That's where we have a problem. I don't condone that type of shit. I like what one of my subscribers said. It ruins it for genuine fans. It ruins it for genuine fans because they're going to look at all of us the same. Which that's not the case, because most of us, right, or some of us I should say, are nothing like those creepy motherfuckers. Because we've got sense. We've got respect for these wrestlers. You understand? Or we don't just look at them as a piece of meat. We honor them as people and for what they put out there to entertain us. That's it. But these guys, they take it one step too far. They even go as far as creating pages on social media to sexualize these women and that, because they can't get pum-pum. They can't get their dick wet. So what they do, they jerk off till they go blind. That's what a lot of these incels do, because they don't know what it's like to have a real girlfriend. In fact, why don't you just go and pay for pussy instead of doing all that shit? Because it just makes you look like a fucking creep. And that's the closest you will ever get to the real thing if you keep on doing that shit. But they're gonna do it regardless anyway. But if you do that shit, hey, it's on you, man. Keep that shit to yourself. Keep it off of social media. Keep your fantasies to yourself. Don't display it to the whole entire world, because we don't need to know your fucking shit that you do behind closed doors. Nobody gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck what you do behind closed doors. But this guy who did the AI thing, I hope you've enjoyed your 15 minutes of fame, because I know whether it's for a laugh or what have you, hey, people are going to look at you as such. And then you're going to have those that see it as a laughing situation, as a laughing matter. People can say, yes, he didn't actually try to physically kiss AJ Lee. People can argue that. And they see the humor in all of the AI shit that he has done. But at the same time, fantasy turns into reality. It all starts off with fantasy. And like I said, don't be surprised if the next male fan meets a female wrestler, holds her by the waist while taking a picture of her. Then after the picture's taken, he turns around and tries to snog her and fills her up and stuff. Because that's going to be the next step. And he's going to do it for clicks and views. And he's going to get the wrong attention. Trust me, the world is fucking changing and the world is getting more evil and wicked. I won't put it past any of these creepy guys. Because if they can go and travel hundreds of miles across the country to stalk their so-called favorite female wrestler, I wouldn't even call them fans anyway, I'll just call them stalkers, and try and, do God knows what, then they're capable of such things. So don't put anything past these motherfuckers, man. They're all nerds. They haven't been out in the real world as much, and they're just doing things to get attention because they never got the attention that they've always wanted. Well, now you've got it for the wrong reason, and you'll forever be known as such. So yeah, that's my take on the situation. Got nothing more to say. Let me know what you think. And by the way, if you are a fan of a specific female wrestler and they are coming to a town near you, try and make the effort to meet them. Try and go out your way to meet them if you can. And share your experience that you've had with that female wrestler or male wrestler. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say. This is the Retro Kid, Retronic Ice Cat on the Real News Talk channel. More videos to come. Stay blessed. Keep it 100. Peace.